Hello beautiful people, you're highly welcome. In today's video I'm going to show you how you can close your dart from your pattern. So if you want to make a dress without any dart stitch, you can actually close it from your pattern before you transfer to your fabric. We drafted this pattern in our previous video. I'm going to drop the link somewhere here and in the description box. To close the darts, we will need to cut open the waistline, okay, slash open the waistline just so we can have access to the dart. Okay, so we'll start with the upper part. I'm going to transfer the dart to my armhole from the middle point here around the armhole. Just go in at the middle and connect each dart leg to that point, just like this. Connect it to that point and also connect the second dart leg from the waist to this point, just like this, to the same point. So what we did now is just to transfer the waist dart to the armhole, just so we can close it without any obstruction. Okay, I'll cut open one of the dart leg just like this. Cut open, don't cut it all the way through, all right, and then I'll close it just like this. Okay, so what we just did now is to transfer it to the armhole just so we can close it neatly. So I'm just going to hold it like this and close it following the second dart leg, and I'll tape it down just like this. Okay, you can do this method if you are going to have a joining at the waistline. You are going to cover up the space at the waist separately. But if you're not going to have any joining at the waistline, you are still going to join it back to the skirt. So for the skirt dart, I'm going to connect the dart leg all the way to the hem of the length of the skirt, just like this. I'll connect each dart leg to the hem of the skirt, and then I'll cut open one of the dart leg, and then I'll cut open one of the dart legs just like this, all the way, but don't cut it through, all right, don't cut it completely. So I'll just go ahead and close it like we did to the upper part. Using the second dart leg, I'm just going to close the darts just like this and tape it down. This dart manipulation method actually works for me. I've made different dresses with the same method. Okay, it is optional. You can have your dart stitch on your dress, on your fabric, and you're good to go. You still have a neat work. So we are going to fill this space here. Okay, you can fill them separately if you want to have joining at the waistline, and you can join them together and fill the space. So I'm just going to get a piece of paper and then place it underneath the patterns just like this and close it. Okay, so I'm just going to tape it down. You can use this pattern to make a dress that doesn't have joining at the waistline, and you can always slash it open at the waistline if you are making a style that has joining at the waistline. Okay, so after this I'll cross check my measurements. You always need to cross check your measurement because you are going to tamper with it. So this is my waist measurement and my 1.5 inch sewing allowance. Okay, I just cross check it. That's the sewing allowance I added on the fabric. So I'm just going to blend the excesses just like this, just very little. I'll blend it just like this. That's for the waistline. Always check your bust and hip measurement too, very important. For the hip measurement, as you can see, this is the hip measurement and my sewing allowance has reduced. Okay, I left 1.5 inch sewing allowance, but now I'm having 1.25 inch at the hip line. So cross check it so that you will know the exact sewing allowance you are going to use on those areas, and make sure you leave enough sewing allowance so that when you tamper with it like this, you will still have your sewing a sewing allowance to work with. All right, So this is it for the front. I have another dart manipulation tutorial, and that other one has a bust dart in it. We also close the bust dart. So if you want to check that tutorial, you can go ahead and check it. I'll leave the link in the description box. This is the back pattern that we drafted, and as you can see, we eliminate zipper bulge in this pattern. If you want to know how to eliminate your zipper bulge completely, you can go ahead and watch that pattern drafting video. All right, so I slash open the waist like we did to the front pattern, and I'm connecting the waist dart to the armhole just like this. And I'll slash open one of the dart leg and close it. Okay, I'll do the same thing to the down part. Connect the dart legs to the hem of the skirt, the one side of the skirt, and then I'm going to slash open one of the darts, slash open it just like this. Don't cut it all the way through, all right, and then close it nicely just like this. Tape it down. If you have done this, you can use this to cut out on any fabric of your choice, all right, and still have a nice shape. The dart manipulation is going to shape the dress the way it's supposed to be when you even stitch it on the dress itself. Okay, but like I said, it is very optional. Okay, you can make your beautiful dresses with your dart stitch on it. Okay, it's no different. If you want to stitch your dart on your fabric, go ahead and do it. If you want to manipulate it, go ahead and do it. I'm cross-checking the waist measurements now, just so I get the excess out, the waist measurement and my sewing allowance, and then I'm going to blend it inward just like this. Okay, that's the excess allowance I get after closing the darts. And then, like I said, the bust and the hip measurement always reduce, but they reduce very little. It's just something that you can just your sewing allowance will cover up. Okay, so that's all for this tutorial. I'm going to be using this particular pattern to make few dresses with the same body size. All right, so don't forget to watch the pattern drafting as well. Thank you all for watching to this point. I love you all, and I'll see you all in my next video, which is definitely a sewing tutorial. Bye.